Welcome to a very special episode of The Big Green Couch. I am Alexis Love, here with my dear friend Kirsten Potenza. Here to chat about our 15th anniversary year of Pound. It's a very special episode because we don't get to sit down and talk together very often and definitely don't get a lot of time to reflect on the last 15 years. So wanted to take it back to the beginning with little Kirsten Potenza, 24 years. Oh, you can start earlier, but we'll say when you're 20.
I was born at the ripe old age of 24.
Actually, well, fun fact, I don't know if a lot of people know that you come from a small town.
I do. Trumansburg, New York. Small, very cute, very lovely little town. I haven't been back in a long time, so I don't know if that's, if it's the same.
I might have made this up, but your parents did do some like hunter-gatherer type stuff.
I was like, what's she going to say? Yeah, my dad hunted deer and turkey, the bow and arrow. My dad was a badass. My dad is a badass.
Yeah.
I
knew that part.
I remember like Thanksgiving, and then we would always have venison. Yeah. I think I'm right about this, but our house before my parents bought it was a old schoolhouse.
Did it have like a central stair?
No, but they put everything in. Every tree, the garden. My mom had a huge garden. I think it won some award at some point. Like they made with their bare hands that house and everything around it. Beautiful. Yeah.
Knowing your family, I'm sure it was magical.
Yeah.
So you're 24 years old. You're in LA. What are you doing? What are you wearing?
God knows. 24, I had started to work at a nonprofit called Children Mending Hearts. And what they did was they connected at-risk children in the United States with at-risk children abroad. So they do these one-day events, with children in Vegas, and they would learn all about children in Haiti, which at the time, the earthquake, I think, had happened a year before. They would make something for them, and it was a way to connect children, across the globe. But also the event was about these kids having a really fun day, arts and crafts and gifts and whatnot. So I was working for them part-time. I was working at a club in LA at night. And I think I was assisting as well. I think I had at least 3 jobs and really searching for the next piece of my life. And I had, since I left UCLA, been in so many different industries in such a short period of time. The music industry, the fashion industry, food and beverage. And I knew nonprofit work. If there's any young people listening, and I know their parents will hate me for saying this, but try everything. You don't have to stick with one thing, because I learned something from every one of those jobs about what I wanted to bring to the future.
My dad used to say that your 20s were for figuring out what you don't want to do.
Amen. Amen to that. Yeah, there was a lot of like, okay, I will not be doing this as either a career or a leader or whatnot.
Executive assisting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I had my Devil Wears Prada year for sure with that. But yeah, I had been an entrepreneur since I was 6. I had a little shop in an outhouse in my backyard called the Forget Me Not Shop. And I knew I wanted to create, and I knew I wanted to build something. I just didn't know what. And I think what I struggled with was I liked so many things. I loved, and it was the reason why I was in so many of those industries. So I was very much searching for what that package would look like at the time. I was also living in LA. I had just left college just a few years before and was soul searching, and Pound, like I say to many people, rolled up in a VW band, and I jumped band. I jumped in either way. So
yeah, you got on the bandwagon. Yeah. What were some of your early influences that shaped what you were creating?
Yeah, I think a couple things became really clear to me at that point in my life. One of them was that music had a power that I don't think many other things have. I worked and ran a music venue right before that period, Cinespace. Shout out to Cinespace. It was a blip in the universe, such a special moment in my life. Every night of the week was a different genre of music. And I got to experience not just the music, but people experiencing the music and what happens when people come together to experience music together and the power of that. So that was one thing that just stood out to me at that point in my life. I had also been an athlete pretty much from the age of 6 on, gymnastics, skating, rowing, Division I rowing in college, which was so deeply embedded in my life and my body. We all come together. We come together to work as a unit, to compete, yes, to win, but there's so many incredible threads and learnings that happen throughout those many years of being an athlete. And all of a sudden I was in LA sitting there going, oh shit, I have to take care of my body and I have to move on my own without the motivation of a team, a coach. And there was also a shift to the, aesthetics that I was really uncomfortable with. So I started going to the gym and personally did not have a positive experience. It didn't feel welcoming. It didn't feel like that.
Like,
family. I'm like, where's my friends? Where's my family?
Yeah.
Where are the people who were cheering me on, and vice versa? And so the loss of that was deeply felt, and I wanted it so badly, but I couldn't find it. I'd say between those two things, that's what really sparked the beginning of Pound and the motivation for Pound. And then those other elements that we just talked about, the food and the nutrition and the lifestyle and the apparel, the branding, things that will always light me up. It was like, wait, this is it. This is where I can put all of my passions into one place. And then last, and my husband Jeremy tells this story to people because I was working for Children Mending Hearts and I was like at the edge of, do I go full time into Pound? Do I put everything into it? And he knew how much I wanted to give back and how aligned I was with what I was doing with the nonprofit. And I know at the time he was pushing me to go in that direction. And it was like, can I really give back with Pound? Can I really change people's lives? And
not a chance.
Yeah. 15 years later, it's, I think we did the work there for sure. And so many beautiful surprises and eye-opening experiences. But that was, a hard jump. And I'm obviously glad I made the jump.
So created a fitness program in an industry that you'd never really been in before. You obviously had your own experience with the gym and kind of, some early navigation around that space. What immediately felt really different about what you were doing, and what did you learn about the group fitness industry that maybe surprised you?
I'll say this first. Would anybody in my position think that they were equipped to create a group fitness program with the experience that I had? I think I could have easily said absolutely not. I had taken maybe 2 group fitness classes in my life. And I hadn't been in a normal gym before I left college because everything was training centers and, it was group oriented with teams, but I had no experience. And I wanted to say that because I think that was the key.
Yeah.
I think that's where it all came from because I didn't have any outside influences and I just created based on what I knew I wanted, needed, felt was needed. And so if anybody has imposter syndrome, fuck it, because that lack of knowledge, the lack of knowledge and experience is what made it what it is today. I say this always. This was my own personal experience, and I know it's not everybody's, but I didn't have the best experience with going to the gym in the beginning. It felt very exclusive. I'm
Also, for context, you're in
LA. Yeah. Like I'm
in like the, like pre-boutique, it's like the, celebrities coming out of Crunch Sunset and
yeah. And
TMZ,
I'm also an introvert, and I have a hard time with public settings in general. A lot of the times I just felt like the barrier was never broken between me and instructor, me and participants. And when you look back at it, you're like, oh my God, Susie next to me was definitely feeling the same way as I was, but we never got introduced to each other.
Yeah.
I felt like the instructor didn't know I was there half the time. It felt, I had a hard time motivating myself to go back to it. So my experience there felt a little bit negative in the beginning, but I think through the last 15 years, I've met the best people through the fitness industry, through Pound. I think Chelsea, who used to be on our team, she said—
oh my God, I was thinking about her this morning. Shout out to Camacho.
Love her. I remember her saying, Pound people are just on the same wavelength. You meet somebody in a class or at a convention and just like, oh, we've known each other forever. And I've met some of the greatest people.
So fun.
Most of the fitness industry and people who are there with really incredible intentions.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful experience to have,
And a baby dose of crazy.
Yeah. And I'll take all the crazy. But yeah, really eye-opening and incredible, and definitely shifted my view on it.
Yeah.
So thankful for that.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes, Thomas Edison, genius is 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. This has been a 15-year journey for you. We can stay kind of in the early days, but that takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. What kind of helped you keep going and motivated you to build what you were building?
Yeah. Well, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
My mom always says this to me when I call her for advice. She's like, you're going to do whatever you want to do anyways. And she's right. I from a very young age, if I had my mind set on something, it was going to get done. And that's resulted in really positive things. It's been, to my own detriment in other ways. Mm-hmm. I remember vividly in the beginning, I think we were teaching like 6 classes a week, trainings on the weekend, maybe 2, which trainings as an instructor, as a master trainer, which we call our icons, is one of the most exhausting things you can do because you're presenting, you're speaking, it's physical, it's emotional, you're carrying the emotions of the people in front of you. And I remember sitting on my table in my house and there being like a stack of, like it was up to here. I think it was like our early contracts or operating agreement. And I went to bed that night and I think it was my first panic attack.
Sorry, not funny.
It's funny because I'll tell you 3 things that were very funny about it. 1, I was sitting on the toilet. 2, the firefighters.
That's the inspiration part.
Firefighters came and they were like, could you get her off the toilet? 3, I told my mom about it the next day. She was like, did you eat too much salmon today? I was like, Mom, this didn't happen because I ate too much salmon. What are you talking about? But it was so overwhelming and early business.
Wait. Oh, hold up.
Sorry.
The fire department?
So I had never had, I think it was a panic attack. I never had it before.
Like you literally thought that you were
woke up in the middle of the night and had like my body seized up. And I think I just was in overload. And so I think Jeremy called 911 or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, now I'm getting it. Okay,
Yeah.
the stack of contracts.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
get
was
it.
just
Yeah,
working
yeah.
around the clock. And so,
Yeah.
perspiration, yes.
Yeah.
It's, you
Also,
can't.
baby lessons and like take care of yourself.
Yeah. You can't. Yes, but like that's what it takes to start something. And you have to be ready for that. And like, the 24-year-old energy definitely.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. But yeah, work ethic. It's so important. Like you want to do something, like that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was hard. There was a lot of bumps in the road, but I think just the drive to do it and make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get into this in a little bit, but yeah, the travel too later on. Like I just remember you like bopping flight to flight to, you know, country to country. And you're like, how are you even alive?
I don't know. Adrenaline probably is the answer. But yeah, I think I was taking like a trip a week in the beginning, which like, how fucking cool is that? Like I'm so grateful. We got to see so many places, meet so many people, and the groundwork that's done there too. And like the learnings, every single trip I would take back something that evolved into changing something or evolving something at Pound. Things that we would learn from trainings in Paris that you'd end up like, okay, we need to make sure that this happens in the future so that we can grow in this way. I mean, just the best learning experience that I could have ever asked for. So,
at what point did you realize that you were onto something special?
A couple things. One, you can't get me to do something that I don't want to do. And I wanted to do
story.
Pound. Yeah. Everybody who knows me is like, ugh. But it's true. And I couldn't get enough of Pound. It made me feel so good. And I think just that reinforcement was so huge. Seeing other people experiencing it and experiencing and absorbing their energy and feedback in those early days was like taking a drug. Like it was, oh my God, like this feels so good. And then seeing that it made other people feel so good, that was it. And then I would also say, I remember the first training that we ever did was at Equinox. Mm-hmm. And I remember walking in with my, holy leggings. This is Equinox West Hollywood. Like you'd walk in and like segways would roll by you. People were in sunglasses. This was like Hollywood.
Yeah.
Very intimidating. And every single one of the instructors in our very first training were the best of the best, arguably the best group fitness instructors in the world. And I was like, what am I doing here?
I always thought when you've told that story that you were in New York for some reason.
No, that was shortly after. But New York is like a whole different vibe.
But that the with their instructors, that was in LA?
That was in LA. Okay. In the West Hollywood Equinox. Okay. And I did not belong there. And I didn't feel like I belonged there. And I was way less experienced than every instructor in the room. And we started training. And the moment the music started and they all started moving and their whipsticks hit the ground, I was like, damn, this is magic. Yeah. And they liked it. Yeah. They liked it. Yeah. And they wanted to teach it. And that was the biggest turning point, because
you're like, I did something scary and like I got good feedback. No, but that's,
yeah. And that was the thing, like, personally, I didn't want to be like the face of Pound. I didn't want it to be a trainer. Everything that was happening in the world and in the fitness industry was like, the YouTube influencers and trainers. And I wanted nothing to do with that. I wanted it to be replicated and for instructors to take it on, make it their own. And so that moment when you were like, okay, the best of the best likes this and they want to bring it to the world. And you know,
this could actually work.
Yeah. Katie, who,
maybe that's why I think it was in New York.
Yeah, she lived in LA at the time. I mean, we're still great friends. And yeah, so.
Okay, I'm going to tell a little personal story just because I was thinking about it earlier. So this Sunday, February 2nd, is 10 years since I moved to LA. I know. 10 years since I moved to LA. And if you remember, it was between taking a maternity job at Equinox and coming to work with you guys out here.
I remember that.
And it's where I belonged. And like, sorry.
Thank God for that.
But yeah, coming up in 10 years.
No, shout out to Alexis. You've played such a pivotal role in Pound, and we share so many things in common, and working together is
so boring.
So boring. No, it's just like, it's so beautiful to have. Amber and I talk about this a lot too. Like, creativity is hard. Finding somebody you can be creative with is an actual miracle. And being able to work with somebody for so long and continue to be creative and refresh and refresh and refresh is a gift. So I thank you for that. Yeah. And I also thank you for just always being a compass at Pound and guiding the ship with me. It's just, business, career, all the things aside, like to have that in life in general is what it's all about. So
same girl, same.
For anybody that wants to know what a day in the life is, well, this is it.
We're lucky we can figure it out for each other. My last job, which I was at for 7 or 8 years, in the marketing department, we had a creative department, which I, Shelly, et cetera, worked really closely with them. But I was always, and this, but for everybody else, I went to art school, I studied design, but had gone in this marketing trajectory. And I was always kind of forced to sort of stay in my lane in the marketing department. And I think something that I've always really appreciated about working here and working with you is just, allowing me to be creative and to, do what lights me up. So anyway, I just want to say that. Very much appreciate it. Early milestones, partnering with Madonna's Hard Candy and launching in Mexico.
A lot of people don't know that story.
Yeah.
Great story. I think Hard Candy was associated with NEV, which is was the parent company to Crunch. And Madonna launched this chain of gyms, Hard Candy. And I'm just going to take a moment because Madonna's
what about us?
She's huge. She's the biggest. And I don't know. I would assume at that level, you vet programs. She came and took a Pound class. Like, kudos.
Wait, did you meet her?
Yeah. So her trainers came early, very lovely people. They set the room, but they set the room with all these extra things. And we were like, they're like, if she decides she doesn't want to do Pound halfway through, like, we're going to have to just give her a good workout.
Oh, like weights and kettlebells.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
They put humidifiers behind us, like hot heat.
Oh, they wanted hot, wet.
Because that's how she likes to work out.
Okay.
And so she comes in, we meet her, she's lovely. We teach her Pound, which just crazy. We finished the class and she goes, what was that one where we were on our backs? TNA.
Yeah.
And we said TNA and she laughs. I think there was one song she didn't like because I think it was a Michael Jackson. I don't even remember. She like laughed about it, like Fall Out Boy cover or something.
Yeah.
If we say, yeah, that's TNA, and she wanted extra TNA. So we did an extra TNA. I think it was like 100 billion degrees in there. But she was amazing. She did the whole workout. She thanked us. We ended up getting in.
Yeah.
And we did, we launched our class in Hard Candy Gyms. I think Mexico City was the first one we did. It was just one of those experiences where you're like,
the only colored ripstick other than green.
Yeah, we did red ripsticks. The class was a little bit longer. It was called Pound Hardcore, Rock Hard, something like that. Oh, unfortunately, I think the gyms maybe closed.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
a couple
for a
years
while,
ago.
Yeah, they kind of expanded and then I think dissolved.
Yeah,
got purchased.
Kudos to Madonna.
Yeah, and you. That's fun.
Kudos to us.
What's it like to go on national TV, and were you scared? And any fun memories?
You know this about me. Like when I grew up, I think I was a very like rambunctious, outgoing. Like I had definitely like a personality.
Yeah.
But if you asked me when I was younger if I would be in front of a camera in any way, shape, or form, I would have said, hell no. I remember in the early days of Pound being so scared even to be in front of a class. And, you know, some of that is infused into Pound. It's why I like the music to lead. It's how I would like to experience a class, but it was also the safety net. And a lot of instructors feel the same way. It takes a lot to get in front of a group of people and not only talk, but teach and move and be an expert. But it was very hard for me to do that. So to go on TV in front of, you know, usually a live audience was a lot. I remember there was a day where I said to myself, you got to get over this and just like be yourself and like because there's all this like, you know, unspoken, unseen, like anxiety that sits there like a cloud that nobody else sees, nobody else knows. And I was like, you got to just push that aside because this isn't going away. And there was a moment where I think I crossed that where I was like, this is part of your job. You can either show up and be yourself or you can let it like rip you apart. And
teach me your ways.
Yeah. I do think I like crossed that bridge at a certain point and it made it a lot easier. I'll also say that those shows that you just read, the hosts made me feel so comfortable. Kelly, she was amazing. She genuinely cared. She was so excited about Pound.
Yeah, she had a good time.
Not just on camera, off camera. And that made such a difference to the experience. I mean, Steve Harvey was just freaking hilarious. And so I think that really helped. There was a couple where it was like, just another workout program, you know, and it made it harder to like break through. But yeah, that was always so helpful. And they were all fun. That's like so exciting, you know, like just a lot of experiences that I never would have ever thought I would have as a human. And getting to talk about Pound and have it be on people's TVs and stuff. That's just exciting.
God, bring that back.
I know. Different world we live in now.
The Pound offices.
Oh, this is so bad.
All right, so I've personally worked out of 6 of them. How many were there total? And what was your
I'll try to name them. If I can remember, I'll probably miss one. Our office or closet in Laurel Canyon. Rose Ave, I think, was next, which was like a step up from a closet. Then the other one at Rose Ave. 555, which I tried to make a blog about. Remember the 555?
Yeah. That's where I hopped on board.
Then
Ocean Park
with the coffee roastery next door.
No.
And the termites.
No.
Ocean Park. You right. You're okay.
No,
So then
with OP and no, what was the store? What was the
the yummy salad place.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but I love that place.
Yeah.
That was a corporate.
Yeah, that was
the most corporate office, and I didn't like it. It had like cubbies. What are they? Cubicles. See, that's how much I don't
cubicles.
fucking know.
And your sister. Oh, I actually have a couple of sister memories.
Oh yeah, Brita.
Did the floors?
Yeah.
In the put down.
Yeah.
What the
shout out to my younger sister Brita, who did all of our early photography, our food shoots, our instructor track shoots. There aren't many people in the world who carry like that breadth of skill set today. So.
And also put down the
wood floors.
To make a track studio in the corporate conference room.
Yep.
And then
funny story. Brooke Shields took that office after us, I think.
No.
Yeah, she has like a beauty company.
Poor thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we...
No, not the beauty company, but that office.
I know. We brought great spirit to that office.
No, we did. We did. And that's our RIP. That's where George first came. I remember him. Little service.
My sister's dog.
Great Dane.
Great Dane, yeah.
No, but I remember... I had a birthday there, and we celebrated it in the awful conference room. But your sister made me a crown, a flower crown, and this cake that had flowers and berries, like one of the most beautiful things I had ever seen. And I'm like sitting there. There was probably like 10 of us, and I'm like, how lucky am I that I get to come to work with these knuckleheads and like make this beautiful thing. I'm like, and I didn't even really know your sister that well at that time. And I'm like, you fucking baked this for me.
Yeah.
And like,
that's anyway, the fam.
But I will say that as special as that was, it is a testament to your family and how you guys all operate. And I'll do a Kirsten Potenza fun fact. You love to cook, and you love to cook for people. And I'm going to go off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Most years when we were together, you would cook for us for our holiday meal. We would all get together. Even when we had like 20 people in the office, my stomach's rumbling. Even when we
talking about food,
I know.
No, that one year we had 50 people at our holiday party.
That's right, because we had significant others.
Yep.
And, oh my goodness. Yeah. So, and you guys brought in tables and you cooked, and you cooked it out of the apartment in like, I can't, guys. They made steak, and I mean, anyway, mind-blowing, heartwarming, always really meaningful, really special. Especially when you've got 50 people and you're like, oh, we'll just cater it ourselves, and but that means something to you. Yeah. Okay, my other quick fun story also includes your sister. It's when you were in the Mar Vista apartment. And you cooked a holiday.
Oh my God.
And your sister, who is...
That was one of my favorite...
It was so good.
Pound Christmas parties.
Oh my God. It was so good. Your sister, who, is pretty shy, super creative and super interesting, awesome. You're both secretly hilarious. Comes sliding down the banister in a Santa suit for me as present.
Do you remember the way that it smelled?
No.
It smelled
the suit. Yes.
Bad.
Yes. Was definitely not washed before rented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No. And then
she had those little shot bottles in her, and she kept sitting on people's laps and giving everybody shots.
Yes. Okay. So and I just took Gemma bowling on Sunday for the first time at the same place. Oh. Yeah. And was like, oh, okay. Last time I was here, Brita gave me a lap dance in a Santa suit.
I think my older sister was there too.
She was? No.
The second year we did it
Okay.
there. Yeah. Good times. That was a good
a
one.
really good Christmas. And then I had to get on a flight to the East Coast at like 6 a.m.
Sorry about that. The fact that I am doing the same thing for 15 years or have done the same thing, I haven't done the same thing, but says a lot about Pound. I like change. That's why we've had so many offices. That's why I've had so many houses. I've lived in every part of LA. I find that to be the most incredible thing because it just still excites me to this day. I think it has surprised most people who know me well.
Yeah.
But it's...
We like to shake it up.
Yeah, we do.
So looking back at 15 years, so much fun, so many adventures, so much noise, but also so many times where we were real stressed, sitting in our situation room.
Yeah.
Panicked. Yeah. Learning on the job. Our website crashing every time tracks were released. Luckily, we sorted that out several years ago. But I mean, I think what you maybe sometimes don't realize that goes on behind the scenes and how challenging it can be and has been for a company that's, largely bootstrapped, always very small, always minimal budgets, lots of people being double billed. Like these are the kind of things that really took some years off our life.
Yeah.
Tell the one about what was happening at the Alessandro office.
Oh my God. It was like almost comical. We got broken into, I think, 3 times. Mm-hmm. Comical, and also it was just a icky feeling. But yeah, like hard drives, computers stolen. The LA story.
Yeah. I mean, but admittedly, we had, this bright, beautiful new office that we spent a lot of time building out. Dream space. Had a lot of windows.
Could see all the computers.
You could see all the and then we just, you kind of, there was a little bit where we were like, okay, we've definitely put ourselves in a little bit of a vulnerable position here.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a sneaky guy that would repeatedly break in and take our stuff.
That's what it said on his name tag. Sneaky guy breaks in again.
But yeah, I mean, it got to the point where we had like 2 security systems and a night.
Yeah, my ADT thing would go off.
Yeah, and a what were they called? Like a nighttime security.
Oh yeah,
guard.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
No, I will say another really big turning point, and I want to say it came at that Alessandro office. As a founder and a business owner, like shit hits the fan constantly. It is the only constant. You can't go into business without expecting that to happen. I remember we went into the Nike offices one day for a meeting, and the girl we were meeting with was like, "Oh, we're having this huge tech issue," and like and I remember being like, "Oh, it doesn't matter how small you are or how big you are. This is just what happens." Yeah. And it was a moment where I just like chilled out. I was like, I can't get caught up.
Yeah.
In every single like time something like this happens.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff's always going to happen, and you have to be ready to weather the storm.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how young or old you are as a company, that's just to be expected. So quick.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments, like
was in a crisis.
No. Yes and no, but I saw a picture of it the other day. Remember when we launched the Level Up video and we were all like...
No, because I was on maternity leave.
Oh. Well, we were all sitting. I saw a picture. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Sorry. It was 11 o'clock. We were all sitting around the like dinner table at the office, getting it ready to launch, eating food, drinking wine. I remember like turning off all the lights and like tapping it into our sound system, because you remember how badass the song was.
Yeah.
It was just like that. Those are the moments where you're like, this is so fun.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. We did that. We had that little viewing party at that same Mar Vista apartment for This Is Us. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, yeah.
So
So
good.
cool. So cool. What were some of your holy shit moments?
Define holy shit.
Beyond just, beyond that first class where, you saw the potential, like what were some of the moments where you were like, oh my goodness gracious, this is big?
I'll say a couple. I remember a couple years in, going on a Saturday, I think, morning, going to a class at Crunch.
Mm-hmm.
I had a baseball cap on and I stood in the back of the room and I just observed the room. And it was very much like when I would observe people, at Cinespace listening to music. And I saw people from, all areas of the city, different ages, different stages. Some people knew each other, some people didn't. People making plans to go to brunch afterwards and get drinks, and people introducing, people who they recognized were new in class to people who had been there forever. The instructor just being so welcoming and lovely, really breaking the barrier between students and instructor. And just everybody moving together, hitting their ripsticks together at the same time, the looks on their faces, the release that they felt during class, and then just the happiness and joy that just would float around the room after the class was over, and just feeling like we did something good, like this is good, and it felt good. And that's what really mattered to me, was that we were doing good. And that was a big moment for me. To answer that specific question, I haven't had it yet. Something about Pound still feels so intimate to me. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we're in 100+ countries and we've trained over 35,000 instructors. But it's because we've kept it small and we've kept it intimate, and it's not the easiest way to do it.
Well, like South Africa,
Yeah, no, we taught 3,000 people. Yeah, I know. My brain doesn't have the ability to compute it.
Just another day at the office.
Not in the sense that it's this is normal, but just my brain doesn't allow me to like those moments to infiltrate in that way.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not special.
Yeah.
They're moments that I feel so eternally grateful to have. But yeah.
I just thought of another one that we haven't really.
What?
The viral video.
Oh my God. Yeah. That was intense.
Yeah.
That was intense. And at a very intense time.
Yeah. Speaking of challenges and not.
That actually was a moment. I think there was 50 million views.
Yeah.
And they had taken a sizzle reel that we had created, Insider Business, right? Or was it Insider?
Business Insider. Yeah.
And placed over some kind of generic, music and verbiage, and it just blew up. And the thought of 50 million people watching it was just crazy to me.
I know. Realizing the impact that the actual video had, and then the surge of interest and activity post it, similar to national press, but way more.
Yeah.
And I think one of the hilarious things was that we had filtered out an inbox that was not widely used, and somehow managed to miss a large amount of incoming inquiries for some time after that video, until it was discovered. All was not lost.
No.
But
we got back.
We got back to them. But that kind of kicked off Live with Kelly and some of our larger
a lot
gym
of
partnerships and
a lot of our natural boosts, in business, in in marketing and expansion happened what I would call organically.
Yeah.
And I think we live in a much different world now where a lot of that we simply don't have the ability to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot more walls up, paywalls up. But we got so lucky with that in the early years, for sure.
No, absolutely. It's a different ball game now for sure. Here's one from the team.
Oh.
What's something you did to promote Pound in the beginning that you look back now and laugh about? I was trying to think about that too. I don't early days, maybe pre me. No, I'm kidding.
I think I dressed up in a banana suit for like a Jamba Juice event. I have a picture of it. Yeah.
Top Pound.
But to be honest, I think it was my idea to put the banana suit on.
Well, when I was thinking about your sister in the Santa suit, having her personality come out, I was like, it is kind of incredible, like how you can, if any pros are struggling, just like take a leaf out of like Kirsten or Kylie Bond's book, put on a turkey suit, a banana suit.
I've heard so many instructors say this. I'm not unique in that it's intimidating for me to stand in front of a room. It's a common fear for people.
Yeah.
And there is something about Pound specifically that when you grab those sticks, it gives you that like rock star, aura, and it gives you the confidence to do something that you couldn't do before and stand in front of a group of people or in a group fitness class in general and do something that you've never done before, that you never thought you would do before. It's why so many people convert from student to instructor. That is the magic of Pound. It's not just because they want to be standing in front of a group of people. It's because they want people to feel the way that they felt when they took their first Pound class. And giving people that power and that experience is a true gift. And it does give you like superhero abilities that you did not have before. Might take a while. That's why I tell people to co-teach in the beginning. That's what we did. Whatever it takes. I've just seen too many people cross that line and transform. I remember specifically one Tour de Summer winner. She was just like, I've had on this uniform and this character my whole life, which wasn't always me. And there was something about Pound that brought a side of me out that was always in there that I was too afraid to bring out. And that, bringing it back to like when I felt Pound was big, it was a day we shot the Inner Rockstar campaign. And I personally interviewed, 6 or 8 people. I don't think I've ever cried more. I internalize my emotions a lot. And I don't think I spoke for a few days because one person after another said, I didn't feel like I had a space to be my true self until Pound. So many different life experiences and levels of that, from not feeling like they could be a group fitness instructor because they didn't feel like they fit into a certain mold, from, their sexuality or trauma or whatever. That was a moment where I was like, we're doing the work here that we wanted to do. We created the space that we wanted for ourselves and for others in Pound. And I think that was a big moment, which I still can't fully speak to. But it was one of the more moving days of my career.
Absolutely. And I think that it also represents how we view what we do. It's always been about the human being and the way that they feel and the way that they feel about themselves, not the way they look. And that, I mean, that was a big campaign for us. It took bringing in a lot of people, took a lot of effort, took a lot of creativity, and it was showcasing people's life stories and how they came into their own inner rock star. And it won an award.
Yeah.
Kind of a big award.
Not see that coming.
And
all.
like, you know, for a fitness company.
Yeah.
A fitness company. But yeah, it's super beautiful. And I know because I've heard from them, also really memorable for the people who were there and experiencing that.
Yeah.
What do you think has made the biggest contribution? What do you think has made the biggest contribution to Pound's success, and why does the world need it now?
I think it's simple. And I think we realized it so deeply in the last couple of years. I think as humans, we yearn for human connection, social interaction, and to feel seen. And Pound provides those things in the most comfortable way. Through the last, through COVID, that was ripped away from us. And we have all felt the long-lasting effects of not being with each other for years. It's not good for us. And that brought to the forefront the importance of social wellness, the value of people being together, not only because it's good to connect with other humans, but because it actually affects our overall health, more than physical wellness and more than mental wellness. That's why I think Pound has lasted for this long, has become such a powerful movement, because we put human connection and supporting other humans and allowing them to be seen as who they truly are at the forefront of everything that we've done. There's nothing more powerful than that. And we live and breathe that at Pound HQ through our team. Our icons believe in that deeply and express that through their trainings, through their teachings, and it's felt throughout our classes and our community. And now, 15 years later, it will be a trend. You will hear social wellness everywhere in the next couple of years, because it's what keeps us alive. And like, that sounds dramatic, but
no. And just to bring in the science around it, it's both sort of what we bring to the community and the education and all of that, but also just communal drumming, like we were talking about earlier, listening to music in the same space with other people, drumming and making music with other people is really powerful for social connection, belonging. It's sort of that trifecta. And I think, a lot of what we're thinking about and talking about right now is the importance of that in people's lives and communities, and why it works,
Yeah.
I've known you since the early days with Crunch, and I've worked with you for 10 years. I've seen you travel the world, weather really difficult times, get married, have a child. How have you evolved as a leader, and probably more important? Oh my God, getting into this interview. I'm glad more poopantly.
I'm glad you. I'm glad you did that.
I just wanted to make you laugh and cry at the same time.
Yeah. You have a gift.
Probably more importantly, how have you evolved as a human?
Oh, that's a hard question. I mean, when I started Pound, I was so young
Mm-hmm.
and so dumb. I think in general, as a human, you just realize how simple the important things are. Like everything that when you scrape everything away, it's the people,
Mm-hmm.
it's the experiences, and it's the connection you have that matter.
Good food.
And good food, yeah. Okay, so as a leader, I don't know if I'm a good leader at all, but I know that I have only stayed true to who I really am authentically as a leader.
Which I think is the most important.
I mean, I've probably effed up in so many ways, but I do know that I stayed true to myself and what I thought was right. And as the years went on and as the human experience lived like in front of me, watching our team grow, watching families grow in front of me, I think I've just become softer and I don't want to say more empathetic, but just we're just all here doing our best. And I think we have
there's more vulnerability for sure.
Yeah, you tell me. I don't freaking know how to answer this question.
Well, I know.
You're the
I'm listening. I'm like, yeah, no. I mean, I think, I think in the earlier days, I think, you definitely felt a little bit more like you had to know. Probably had some imposter syndrome, but was like didn't want to show that you might not know. What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Ego.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. And now I think you're much more comfortable with, hey, I'm just fucking me being me and, trying my best. And the thing is that is actually what's the most important to people. And especially like the kind of universe that we live in is just like, we're all just trying to freaking figure it out.
Yeah.
And like, everybody will say this, you lead with your heart. And like when you lead with your heart, you're genuinely trying to do the best you can for people. And, I kind of like, now, like I said, now we look back at some of these situations, we were, the challenges we were in, and because they were so scary at the time, double billing people and like, but we always were like, we always thought about, what if I were in that person's shoes? What would I want to hear from a company? Like, what would I like, and there's not a single instance where, another thing that I don't think people realize, like, you want to write into info@poundfit.com and, give us some feedback. Chances are it's going to come across, your desk. Everything is so personal to us. And feedback is really important. And I think, now I think we look at some of the ways that other people lead or companies operate and we're like, thank the Lord we didn't do it that way.
I think as humans, it's very easy to look for influence in places that you respect. Mm-hmm. For example, you're building a company and you're like, I love how they do it. And you replicate that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't do that in the creation. Don't do that as a leader. Do you first, mm-hmm. and then some of it probably will align with that. But the greatest thing about Pound at the beginning was the blinders that mm-hmm. we had mm-hmm. on to what everybody else was doing. And it was just like, wait, this feels right, put it down. And that's, that's where the blind confidence of being a 24-year-old came into play.
Yeah.
But this is cool. We're doing it.
Yeah.
As a leader, always put people first. Always lead with your heart. That doesn't exist. doesn't exist
Yeah.
very much anymore. Small companies led by humans.
Mhm.
It's
Support them, love
complicated,
them.
but it's worth it. Yeah.
No, it's so true. So we hit up our community, our icon team, to share some of their favorite memories and stories with Pound and Kirsten. All right, we'll start with this one. So this one's from Erica. A moment of how our community is amazing because of KP's guidance and leadership. I met her in person in 2017 at Chicago Amplify. Year later, I see her again in LA, and right away she commented about how I changed my hair. It sounds so silly, but it truly showed how much she cares about the community of Pound, taking the time to get to know the pros through social media or seeing us trainings, etc. She also says, fun moment, LA Amplify 2018, Flip Cup at HQ. We had a pros icon team against HQ. I remember that. That was at the Alessandro office, right? Yeah.
Love Flip Cup.
She also said, in a Rockstar campaign shoot, truly unforgettable experience. Yeah, because Erica was one of the ones featured, also like, sharing her own personal journeys and struggles. Could have shared a ton more. Excited to hear all the memories. Here is from Katoya. Tour Crew Meetup 2019, epic experience. I remember sharing about my daughter and you enjoying hearing that perspective, and now seeing you in motherhood is beautiful. See, a lot of people it's, the heart, and it's the individual, and like seeing people. It means so, like, I think people forget sometimes how much it means to someone just to like notice something.
We say this all the time to pros, especially, and I have a story about. I use this as an example. I remember seeing C-Rad at a convention. I literally looked at C-Rad and I was like, she needs to teach Pound. And I didn't know who she was. I don't even know what I saw her doing.
Dancing,
but
maybe?
I walked right up to her and I was like, you need to be an instructor. And I don't think people realize how powerful just being seen is.
Yeah.
And like somebody would have, C-Rad is an incredible, talented human being instructor, but she probably wouldn't have become a Pound pro. It's just the power in just that little comment and seeing somebody. I'll tell a really quick story. One of my favorite stories, Kirsty, who used to be customer service at Pound. Yeah. I remember interviewing her and she goes, so I did my homework and I went to a Pound class, and I was like, hell yeah, girl. Like, you win already. But she goes, I'm not the type of person that I just don't feel like I belong in the gym. And it's really uncomfortable for me to take a class or go. I just don't feel like I'm the type of person who belongs there. And I walked into this class and the instructor walked up to me and said, what's your name? I'm so-and-so. Like, number one. Two, she introduced me to the people in class. I was blown away at that point. And then she said, and I sat down and this girl next to me started talking to me and started telling me about Pound and how much she loved it and like helping me get ready for class. She's like, I never in my life have had an experience like that. Yeah. I never in my life have felt actually authentically welcomed into an experience. Not to mention, I'm a drummer and I loved the class, but I never would have stepped foot, and I was blown away by the experience I had. She goes, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass, like, because I'm in an interview. She's like, this is my personal experience. And those are the little things that I believe separate us at Pound, because those are the micro details that we have sewn into our training experience that we teach our pros. Any instructor can go to a group fitness training and get, the physical, the science, the experience piece, but we build in those very important moments, like, this is what we want to create in the experience. And just to hear that actually was happening in a random Pound class in LA was so incredible. So yeah, like
I know that feedback. It's always like, I don't know why it feels surprising, but
I know,
you're
isn't that
just like,
sad? Yeah.
Well, just sometimes when you're removed, from some of the on the ground stuff and the day to day, it's working.
Yeah.
Another one from Katoya, Pretty Girl Sweat. That was a time. Also double dutching barefoot.
Yeah. That was such a fun event. So fun.
Atlanta.
I love Katoya.
Um,
Can I tell a Katoya story?
yeah.
It's just like one of my favorite moments in the last couple of years, and such a reminder. Like you talked about like me teaching for the first time, and like I remember Katoya came out for an instructor track shoot, and being in front of a camera while talking, while doing instructor tracks is so difficult, and you do not realize it until you're there. And she, like, all of our icons are just stars, so that's cool. So I remember her first track shoot, and like it's intimidating, and she was like, this is intimidating. And she did her shoot, and she came back, I think it was last year, and I was there, and I was like, girl, you are a superwoman. Like just seeing her evolution and like strength and confidence and just badassery, and like that's cool.
Yeah.
Like just watching all of our icons, because the crazy thing is they come in so good, so special, so iconic, and then years later you're like,
They're still growing.
there's more.
Yeah.
It's just the best.
Carla from Dublin. She had dinner in my family home with the whole family, and my two favorites, my dog Marley and my nanny, adored her.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, how special is that? When we talk about traveling, it's not just about traveling. It's like being able to go around the world and meet up with people like share the same vibe as you and meet their families. And
I mean, pound aside, being able to travel and experience other people's daily lives and culture and family, the way they do things the same, the way they do things differently is life-changing.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's not one pound person that I have ever met and not been like, I immediately vibe with you, and I could sit at a dinner table with your nanny and your dogs and and like be here forever. It's pretty cool. I love Carla.
Becky. One of my favorite memories with KP has to be Toronto for CamFit Pro when we were launching Pound with Good Life Fitness. We made a random decision to go see Pink when we stayed an extra night in the city for City Line the next day.
Yeah.
I didn't know you saw Pink.
Yeah. I had to stay for that press appearance, and I don't know how. Oh, I know. Our hotel was literally next to the
show venue.
And I was like, when are we ever gonna get to? And I think I bought me and her. I think it was just me and her tickets, and it was just amazing. I mean, I love Pink so much, and I love everything she stands for. But just being able to,
that's so cool.
Yeah. It's all the memories, right, that go along with.
No, I know. I feel like the floodgates are open right now. The power of Pound came before master trainers were even a thing. I met Kirsten at CanFit. I was in a wheelchair recovering from an appendectomy gone wrong, which doctors said I may never recover from. I told her that I was going to be one of the first icons for Canada. We kept in touch. I was relentless in my pursuit to train with them, get license, apply for every position, and become part of the team. Their belief in me really propelled my fitness career and gave me opportunities to see Canada and meet the most incredible humans through trainings. The feeling it gave me was meaning.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Like vividly. I know exactly where I was.
Yeah. I know. Here we go. Get the tissues. March 2017, at my first Pound Pro training in Singapore, I met KP. She brought the power and beauty of Pound into my life, leaving a lasting impression on me. We even captured the moment with a group photo. Then in 2019, during Icon training, I truly felt her love and unwavering support. I never imagined meeting someone as inspiring and extraordinary as her. KP taught me not only to embrace Pound, but also to embrace love, kindness, and the importance of supporting those around us. She continues to inspire me to be a better person every day. When we had the chance to lead a
It's fine.
master class in
Everything's
Lyon with 100 participants, I realized then that communal drumming was a real therapy, seeing the smiles, the energy, and the love people were sharing. Pound creates community, friendships, and group happiness, 100%.
Is this okay?
Are you leaking from your
I'm
eyes?
leaking from my eyes. I must have something in both of my eyes.
One of my favorite memories, I feel like I just thought of another one as I was about to say this, but no, I mean, you know this, but one of my favorite remedies.
Remember memories? Remember memories?
One of my favorite, well, no, it was Rimini. One of my favorite memories was Rimini in 2018. And it was my first like big convention that I did with you guys.
They do them different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
a party.
I mean, oh my God, insanity. Yeah. So big. So many people in fitness. Like bodybuilders on stage, protein shake stands, like all of it. Hilarious. I mean, this is Italy, but like going out on the pool, the connecting like pool deck, and like there's all these like aquatics things going on, but then also people smoking cigarettes.
Balance,
a
little bit of
what
balance.
Is happening? But just like working really long days, with your friends, meeting people, signing people up for trainings,
getting tattoos.
Wait, did you? No,
I did.
You did at that.
Me
trip?
and Audrey, and
no, that must have been the year before.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, because that was 2017. I think it was 2018.
Yes.
I was like, because I would have done it.
You're like, I would have had one.
Yeah.
Do you not have your pound tattoo yet?
No, but I'm gonna get it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm committing on this. You heard it here first.
Hold her to it, guys.
Flash. I mean, first of all, or third of all, the Italian icons are just incredibly fun, charismatic people. And plus, like the tour crew at the time. Anyways, I mean, so event was amazing. Work really hard, have a lot of fun, take classes, and then go home to your go to your hotel room, shower really quick, go out to dinner, have like the most amazing food, sit out, amazing food, wine, Aperol spritzes, laughing, talking with each other. Sun is shining because I think it's like in the summer, right?
Yeah, July.
We walk to the beach and put our toes in the water. And I just remember feeling like, I mean, we had a couple of like really epic dinners, but I just remember feeling like, how is this my job?
Yeah.
Like, what is life? But yeah, definitely one of my favorite memories. Okay. This is from Jess McKee. The first ever IFS when Kirsten and I were cracking up at everyone going, ooh, the class was such a vibe and we just lost it.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God, yeah.
Number 2, I mean, 3,000 people in South Africa was pretty epic. The beautiful setting, the energy, and seeing an actual sea of ripsticks. I mean, that I was not there, but that was,
So
the
one
first
in Cape Town was like, it was like a painting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to, it was like art. So beautiful.
We'll have to reshare that video. I think
it was really beautiful.
With like the sun setting.
Yeah.
I'll never forget my pro training gym box bank. It was really love at first strike, and I know KP will remember it too.
Yeah. We were, Jess is like a sister, like from another, like we're born almost on the same day.
Yeah.
She's a sister.
Yeah, which brings me to this one. Also not sure if this is appropriate, LOL, but always needing a nervous poo before going on stage, but having each other's back and saying to each other, if you poo on stage, I poo on stage.
That was the golden rule. If you do it, everybody has to do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. We all got uncomfortable, guys.
Yeah.
Like.
Came close so many times.
It's
a real thing.
I really want to end on that note.
It feels like the right note to end on. Wait, didn't you have facts?
Yeah, my fun facts. One, just that you're hilarious. No, I mean, seriously, I think if people don't meet you in person and have that like direct experience, it's hard to kind of like
Makes me so uncomfortable.
But no, you're real, like you're hilarious. It's funny when you were describing yourself as a kid, and being kind of like more outgoing and more just kind of, you can get very childlike and very silly. And I think that people probably miss that about you unless they, know you. I'm sure you post.
True.
I'm sure you post some funny shit on social media that like people can get your humor, but no.
Very into 13-year-old boy humor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, definitely. Definitely the dirty.
Do you remember
jokes
the day I came? I don't know why. The day I came into the office, I was like, "Look at these cool tampons I found. They're green." And like two like marketing executives from somewhere where I was like, "I'm Kirsten. Sorry guys, I'll be leaving now."
Oh my God, we can do
office.
We can do okay. In our next episode, we'll do embarrassing moments. Where we do dumb
8
shit.
hours, yeah. Like the time I walked into my own glass door window in front of the entire office.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which brings me to my second fun fact about you being sensitive. Not that walking into a glass door wouldn't hurt everybody. No, you are, I think we both have, sort of heightened sensory processing. You certainly on the auditory side, which is obviously why, music is so important to you, and why you feel deeply connected to it. But also what that means is that when you make annoying sounds around Kirsten, she looks like she's in the third circle of hell.
I have that thing.
Yeah.
It has a name.
Oh, it has a specific
it's a
name.
scientific thing. I can't remember the name of it, but I have it.
So we don't end up pooing on stage. What's the what's the future? What's next?
What is the future? Next 15 years.
Next 15 years.
Next 15 years a pound. I think that through my 15 years at Pound, a few things have become really clear. That without other humans in our lives, we don't live to our full potential. Mm-hmm. I think becoming a mom has taught me that there's not many more things that are as important as, bringing up the next generation, being good parents, having a connection with your family, and that what happens at home is precious, but that you can't fully live that experience unless you take care of yourself, unless you honor yourself, your needs, your creativity. And so my hope for the next 15 years is that at Pound, we find ways to elevate that experience, elevate the human connection. It doesn't have to be this extravagant plan that we have. To me, it's like staying true to what we always everything that we've always believed in and doubling down on it and saying no, human connection, real life experiences, giving our instructors the tools, the products to bring that to their communities, because that's what makes us all less lonely, more connected, more seen, more able to give to others, give back to ourselves, but also others. Just more of that. That's what we need.
It's funny because I always think about when we think about, our own personal goals and future and stuff. It's like, just show up every day and be positive and be a good person. You will live a happy life.
Yeah, we got
it's nice to have goals, but there's no magical endpoint where it's just it's the bring in the good stuff every day.
I believe in magic. So
I believe in magic. Don't let me sing. Well, Kirsten Potenza, friend,
sister.
sister, my person, my human, my work wife. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me. We talk a lot, but never in this capacity.
I know.
So it's been really fun.
I'm going to ask everybody to go home tonight with their friend or loved one and just reflect on your last 15 years because I think it's important and I definitely am so bad at it. But life is really precious and I think we all should celebrate all the little wins along the way. And thank you, Alexis, because I would not be able to do any of this without you.
Love you.
And it's true. Love you. There we go.